Welcome to the second video taking a look at some of the rack toys produced by Larami Corporation for Battlestar Galactica. First up, we have probably my favourite of these very cheap rack toys. This is the Cylon Sunglasses produced by Larami Corporation. These are pretty cool, mainly for the packaging, because it's a nice illustration of a Cylon head with a pair of evil red eyes as sunglasses, as you can see here on the back. These are also produced for Buck Rogers Toys. You'll find them on various different branded packagings, but these Cylon ones are probably my favourite. And you can see that the price originally was 77 cents, so that's a pretty cheap toy, so pocket money prices really. Here we have these cosmic slider puzzles. These were available in with various images on them. The ones I have here have Adama and are exactly the same. There are other versions with Ovians and other characters from Battlestar Galactica. These are the sort of sliding type puzzles where you have lots of blocks that you can slide around and sort of scramble up, and you have to unscramble it to make this image. Again, nice cheap toy, and this is another easy one to find if you're going to collect some of these cheap rack toys. Next up, the Battlestar Galactica watch set. You get two watches in this pack, neither of which actually work, so it's a little bit of a sort of lie. It's not a watch, these are just sort of plastic gimmicky watches with Battlestar Galactica printed on them, and you get a sort of pocket watch as well with a little bit of a space scene. This is probably one of the worst of the sets. It's just so cheap and nasty, and be very disappointing if you got given this as a kid. The ID set is another very simple bit of packaging. It's a simple plastic wallet with a ID badge. It's quite nice that the ID badge has a picture of Earth on it, as obviously the Battlestar Galactica was searching for Earth, but it is a particularly cheap toy and wouldn't have sold for a great deal. Here we have the wallet. The wallet is pretty nice actually, because this has a sort of stylized version of a Cylon Raider on the front. Again, when you open it up, there's space for you to write your name and address, and it has little areas for notes and coins. And this is actually one of the nicer of the sort of cheap rack toys. It's still fairly cheap, as you can see, but it is actually a nice little spongy wallet and would have been quite good for a kid to store their cash in. Now this one, I'm not actually sure what it's called. I would call it a torch, but it's essentially a gun with a light in the front of it, and you pull the trigger like that and the torch light lights. It's nothing really to do with Battlestar Galactica. It doesn't look like the guns that the Colonial Warriors held in the TV show. It's just, again, a cheap branded toy with a Battlestar Galactica sticker stuck on the side of it. But again, this is actually probably one of the nicer ones, because at least as a child you'd have had a gun that said Battlestar Galactica on it, and you could have played sort of shooting around in the playground. And the final item in this video of two is the Space Glow Putty. This is actually Silly Putty, branded to be Battlestar Galactica, and this is also day glow, so it would be glow in the dark Silly Putty. I used to love Silly Putty as a kid, and I loved the fact it came in an egg. That always amused me. But they also did quite a lot of these cheap sort of rebranded stuff for TV shows. This is not one of the easier ones to find. I guess people open Silly Putty and play with it because it was so cool, and the problem with the packaging on this one is it does tend to split because it's two bits of card stuck together, so you can see even if you do find them, they tend to be in fairly poor condition. I did love Silly Putty, the fact that you could stick it on newspapers and take the print off, and it also bounced and stretched, and it was a fantastic toy to have. So of all of the cheap rack toys, this is probably the favourite one of mine in my current collection. And that's it for the two-parter on cheap rack toys for Battlestar Galactica. Thanks for watching.